fast way to track what's moving online right now? Head over to Qnotables.com. It's a centralized index of notable clips, headlines, and references being shared across the community, organized for quick browsing. Use it to spot patterns, pull links, and build your own research list. Qnotables.com. Browse the notables, verify the facts, stay informed. All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Boards, May 7th, 2026, good morning and welcome in. Tonight's rundown starts with law enforcement, terrorism convictions, immigration enforcement, and the growing fight over who controls America's institutions. From Los Angeles to Texas, from Capitol Hill to Cuba, from election maps to energy markets, the pressure campaign is building on every front. Top story. Federal and local law enforcement carried out a major drug enforcement operation around MacArthur Park in Los Angeles, a location long tied to open-air narcotics activity. Officials say 18 people were arrested in connection with alleged fentanyl and methamphetamine distribution, with searches also tied to other Southern California locations. The DEA led the operation with support from local agencies, targeting cartel-linked drug activity in the heart of Los Angeles. The White House is also putting counterterrorism back at the center of national security. The 2026 counterterrorism strategy prioritizes cartels, border security, foreign terrorist organizations, jihadist networks, and domestic extremist threats. The administration's message is direct. America is the homeland, and it will be protected before foreign and criminal threats reach U.S. communities. 9 defendants tied to a North Texas Antifa cell have been found guilty in a major terrorism case connected to a July 4th attack near the Prairieland ICE facility. Prosecutors said the group used coordinated planning, anti-government ideology, and violent tactics during the attack, which included vandalism and a police officer being shot. The convictions mark one of the strongest federal cases yet against organized Antifa-linked violence. A major child exploitation operation has led to 28 arrests involving cruise ship employees, including workers connected to Disney Cruise Line. Federal authorities boarded ships and detained crew members accused of possessing or sharing child sexual abuse material. The arrests raise serious questions about screening, oversight, and passenger safety aboard cruise ships, where crew members often have direct access to families and children. Domestic politics. President Trump is celebrating a record stock market milestone, saying the stock market hit an all-time high and that jobs and 401ks are booming. The White House is pointing to investment, manufacturing expansion, and market strength as proof that confidence is returning to the American economy. The message from Trump is simple: retirement accounts, jobs, and American investment are moving in the right direction. The U.S. ambassador to India says Indian companies plan to invest more than $20.5 billion in the United States across technology, manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and other major sectors. The announcement is being presented as another sign of strengthening U.S.-India economic ties. Trump supporters are pointing to the investment as evidence that foreign capital is moving into American industry under the current administration. Eli Lilly is committing another $4.5 billion across Indiana manufacturing sites and opening its first dedicated genetic medicine manufacturing facility. The company says its Indiana capital commitments now total $21 billion since 2020. The investment strengthens domestic pharmaceutical production and adds momentum to the push to rebuild critical medical manufacturing inside the United States. President Trump hosted UFC fighters Alex Pereira, Ilya Tapuria, Justin Gaethje, and Cyril Gane at the White House as the administration promoted a future UFC event on the South Lawn. Trump praised the fighters and promoted plans for a major patriotic event tied to America's 250th anniversary. The appearance mixed sports, national pride, and political showmanship in classic Trump fashion. President Trump also delivered remarks alongside UFC figures on May 6th, showing renderings for a planned White House lawn fight card. Dana White and several fighters joined the Oval Office promotion as Trump laid out a vision for one of the biggest sporting spectacles ever connected to the White House grounds. A Qatar-gifted Boeing 747-8 is being prepared as an interim Air Force One aircraft, while the delayed Boeing VC-25B program continues. The aircraft is being refitted as a bridge aircraft, with a patriotic red, white, dark blue, and gold color scheme. The plane is expected to serve as a high-profile symbol of presidential power, while the next official Air Force One remains behind schedule. Former President Bill Clinton appeared at the groundbreaking of an $18 million expansion for the Anchor House Men's Addiction Recovery Facility in Brooklyn. Clinton spoke about addiction, second chances, and his own family's experience with substance abuse. The appearance drew attention because Clinton appeared frail and spoke with a strained voice during the event. Ted Turner, the founder of CNN and one of the biggest figures in American media history, has died at age 87. Turner built CNN into the first 24-hour cable news network and helped reshape global broadcasting. President Trump paid tribute to Turner while also saying CNN changed after Turner sold it, arguing that new ownership damaged the network Turner created. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick testified behind closed doors before the House Oversight Committee about his past connections to Jeffrey Epstein. Lawmakers questioned Lutnick about a 2012 visit to Epstein's island and other contacts after he previously said he had cut ties years earlier. The testimony has intensified pressure for more transparency around Epstein's network and the powerful people connected to it.
At shop.isawaya.com, everything you buy supports Acun.top, the place where people talk freely no matter what. Check out our Acun Honey Pot, a jar of yummy honey that's as strong as your voice. Put it on toaster and tea. It's not just honey, it's freedom in every bite. Then there's Acun Butter, a smooth handmade skin cream that makes you feel good while you fight for what's right. Awesome wood and pieces for display only. Hang them up or set them out. They're for showing off Acun's tough spirit. Want to help even more? Get a proto membership. So go to shop.isawaya.com now and grab some goodies. Help Acun.top keep free speech alive, and let's keep the ideas flowing loud and free.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Boards, a federal judge has unsealed a handwritten note described as Jeffrey Epstein's alleged suicide note. The document was reportedly found by Epstein's former cellmate Nicholas Tartaglione after an earlier suspected suicide attempt in 2019. The release adds another major document to the public record surrounding Epstein's final weeks in custody and keeps public attention focused on the unanswered questions around the case. The FBI raided offices and a cannabis business connected to Virginia State Senator Louise Lucas, a powerful Democrat and longtime state lawmaker. Reports say the raid is tied to a federal corruption investigation involving the cannabis business. Lucas has not been arrested and has called the investigation politically motivated, but the raid puts another senior Democrat under federal scrutiny. House Republicans are again targeting Representative Ilhan Omar over long-running allegations tied to immigration fraud and claims involving a brother marriage scheme. Republican lawmakers previously pushed for subpoenas seeking immigration and marriage records connected to Omar and her former husbands. Omar denies the allegations, but Republicans are now signaling the issue could move toward discipline or expulsion if new evidence is produced. Minnesota lawmakers have also pressed Representative Ilhan Omar for documents connected to the Feeding Our Future fraud scandal. The case involved massive misuse of federal child nutrition funds, and Omar's name has appeared in related trial materials, though she has not been charged. Republicans say the investigation is not over and continue pushing for answers. Florida Democrat Debbie Wasserman Schultz says she will run for re-election, but she has not settled which district she will run in after Florida's new congressional map reshaped the battlefield. The map creates serious problems for several Democrats and could shift more seats toward Republicans. Wasserman Schultz says she is staying in the fight, but the district question remains open. President Trump's push to cut federal funding from sanctuary jurisdictions continues to drive a larger fight between Washington and Democrat-run states and cities. The administration's position is that jurisdictions refusing to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement should not expect unlimited federal support. That pressure may eventually fall back on state and local taxpayers. Democrat-led New Mexico is ending its abortion reporting requirement under Senate Bill 30. The law repeals the requirement that induced abortions be reported to the state registrar within 5 days. Supporters call it a privacy measure, while critics say it removes a key public reporting tool and makes it harder to track abortion numbers, trends, and complications statewide. The Justice Department says UCLA's David Geffen School of Medicine illegally used race in its admissions process. DOJ officials say the school favored some applicants based on racial demographics at the expense of merit and equal treatment. UCLA says its admissions process is merit-based, but the case is now a major test of post-affirmative action enforcement. After major court decisions against race-based policies in redistricting and college admissions, federal procurement may be next. Republican lawmakers have introduced legislation to stop federal agencies from awarding contracts based on race or sex. Supporters say government contracting should be based on merit, price, and performance, not identity categories. Europe is moving toward a more centralized and data-driven tax system, with officials pushing real-time reporting, tighter VAT administration, and efforts to close the tax gap. Supporters call it modernization and simplification. Critics see it as a financial control system that will make it harder for citizens and businesses to escape expanding government oversight. A pressure campaign is growing around Senate Majority Leader John Thune and the Save America Act. Supporters of the bill want stronger election rules, including proof of citizenship requirements for voter registration. Trump has pushed Senate Republicans to act, and the fight is now centered on whether Thune and Senate leadership will move the bill forward. Election integrity and redistricting. Indiana Republicans saw a major primary shakeup after Trump-backed challengers defeated several GOP incumbents who opposed Trump's redistricting push. Supporters are calling it a warning shot against Republican lawmakers who ignore the base. The message from the results is clear. In Indiana, crossing Trump on major election issues can carry a political cost. Tennessee Republicans have proposed a new congressional map that could eliminate the state's last Democratic-held U.S. House seat. The plan would split Memphis and reshape the state's congressional districts ahead of the 2026 midterms. Supporters say the map reflects Tennessee's conservative makeup, while Democrats are fighting to preserve their last seat in the delegation. With race now under legal attack in redistricting, college admissions, and potentially federal procurement, the national fight over identity-based policy is entering a new phase. Republicans are moving to strip race-based preferences out of public decision-making. The larger argument is that government power should be applied equally, not filtered through racial quotas or political categories. International conflict and foreign affairs. President Trump is pointing supporters to a chart connected to the Iran conflict and arguing that the data shows the war has not produced the catastrophic fallout many predicted. Trump continues to frame his Iran policy around preventing Tehran from obtaining nuclear weapons while keeping pressure on the regime. The administration's position is that strength and speed are the keys to ending the conflict. General Michael Flynn is raising questions about a massive crude oil, short-placed before a sudden drop in oil prices. The claim says someone placed a $920 million crude oil short around 3:40 in the morning, and that oil dropped 12% about 70 minutes later, producing a $125 million profit. The timing has fueled questions about market movement, insider knowledge, and the financial side of war. Reports from Cuba continue to highlight the deep gap between ordinary citizens and the communist elite. While many Cubans struggle with poverty, shortages, and political control, well-connected regime families are accused of living far above the people they rule. Attention is now turning to the Castro family's next generation and the power networks still surrounding Cuba's communist system. YouTuber Nick Shirley says he was followed by Cuban intelligence while filming in Havana and believed he was at risk of being taken hostage. Shirley said he traveled to Cuba to document conditions under the communist government. His account has spread widely online and is drawing renewed attention to repression, surveillance, and the danger faced by independent voices in Cuba and even in the U.S. Alberta separatists say they have submitted more than 300,000 signatures to push for a referendum on whether Alberta should leave Canada and become independent. The signatures still need to be verified, and legal challenges remain, but the movement has gained momentum after years of frustration with Ottawa. The proposed question would ask whether Alberta should cease to be part of Canada. Norway is reopening 3 North Sea gas fields that were shut down in 1998. The fields are expected to resume production in 2028 and help strengthen Europe's energy supply. The move comes as global conflicts and energy insecurity push European governments to reconsider older fossil fuel assets that were once abandoned. Texas is back at the center of a national fight over Islamic influence, public events, and cultural separation. A planned Muslim-focused water park event in Grand Prairie was canceled after Governor Greg Abbott objected to language advertising it as Muslim-only. The controversy has sharpened debate over religion, public access, cultural enclaves, and whether separate standards are being normalized inside American communities.
Every voice matters. The power of free speech is more important than ever. Imagine a place where you can share your thoughts freely, explore new ideas, and engage in meaningful conversations anonymously. With online anonymity, you can express yourself without fear of judgment. It's about freedom, creativity, and connection. Join the conversation that matters. Embrace your voice. Celebrate your freedom. Visit 8kun.top today. That's 8kun.top.
All reports can be found on Q Research or Qnotables.com. Notables do not equal endorsements. We are researchers who deal in open source information, reasoned argument, and dank memes. We do battle in the sphere of ideas and ideas only. We neither need nor condone the use of force in our work here.
From the Q Research Board's May 7, 2026, Crime and Corruption. The MacArthur Park drug raid in Los Angeles shows how cartel-linked drug activity has become a daily public safety threat in major American cities. Fentanyl, methamphetamine, open-air dealing, and organized distribution networks have turned public spaces into enforcement zones. The operation sends a message that federal and local agencies are willing to move directly against those networks. The cruise ship child exploitation arrests show the scale of the problem facing the travel industry. 28 people were arrested in an operation involving cruise employees, including workers connected to Disney Cruise Line. Families trust these companies with their children, and the case puts pressure on cruise operators to strengthen vetting, monitoring, and internal security. The Texas Antifa terrorism convictions mark a major moment in the federal response to politically motivated violence. Prosecutors tied the defendants to coordinated planning, anti-government ideology, and a violent attack near an ICE facility. The verdicts show that organized domestic political violence can be prosecuted as terrorism when the evidence meets the standard. The Epstein document releases and Howard Lutnick testimony keep the Epstein network in the national spotlight. Lawmakers continue pressing for records, testimony, and accountability from powerful people who crossed paths with Epstein. The public still wants names, timelines, and the full truth about how Epstein operated for so long around money, politics, and influence. The FBI raid, tied to Virginia State Senator Louise Lucas, adds another corruption investigation to the political calendar. Lucas is a powerful Democrat, and the raid involving a cannabis business connected to her brings questions about power, licensing, money, and political influence. Federal investigators are now in the middle of a case that could have major implications in Virginia politics. The Feeding Our Future scandal remains one of the largest fraud cases tied to federal nutrition funds, and Republicans continue pressing Ilhan Omar for related documents. The broader issue is how massive amounts of taxpayer money were stolen through nonprofit and food program channels while officials failed to stop it in time. The demand for records is about tracing who knew what and when. Tech, markets, and economy. Eric Trump is highlighting American Bitcoin's rapid growth, saying the company has scaled to more than 7,300 Bitcoin, nearly 90,000 mining machines, and a reported 52.4% gross margin. The company is being framed by supporters as a major public Bitcoin treasury and mining player. The growth shows how Bitcoin, energy, mining, and capital markets are now moving directly into mainstream politics and finance. President Trump's stock market message is being tied to jobs, 401ks, and investor confidence. The administration is using market highs, manufacturing commitments, and foreign investment announcements to build an economic case heading into the next election cycle. The argument is that growth, not government control, is the path back to national strength. Eli Lilly's $4.5 billion Indiana expansion is more than a pharmaceutical story. It is a manufacturing story, a supply chain story, and a national security story. The new genetic medicine facility keeps critical medical production inside the United States and adds to the broader push for domestic capacity in industries America cannot afford to outsource. Indian companies planning more than $20.5 billion in U.S. investment show how global capital is repositioning around America. Technology, manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and industrial sectors are all part of the announcement. The White House is presenting the investment as proof that the United States is becoming the preferred destination for serious economic expansion. The Europe tax story shows where digital government
Don'tDeleteMeBro.com 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com 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 Share the site with others. Don'tDeleteMeBro.com.
That's all for now. Stay alert, stay informed, and never hand your thinking over to anyone on a screen, including me. God bless you, God bless our troops, and God bless the United States of America. See you soon.